Fortnite has removed the Midas skin from the game, but I feel like a lot of people don't remember the real reason why it happened. So that got me thinking, why don't I finally go over the full comprehensive history of the 50 Fortnite items they had to remove? Like, did you know that Fortnite disabled the Zoe skin? This skin was in the Season 4 Battle Pass, but it took until October 2018 before people found a very game-breaking glitch. There were sightings of invisible Zoe skins around the map, so when people did testing, they discovered that if you were over 40 meters away while using the skin, most of the skin would be completely invisible except parts of the head. Epic quickly disabled her and fixed her about a week later, but what about number 2, the Street Shine pickaxe? On April 19th, 2022, Epic dropped this pickaxe into the item shop, and at first all seemed normal, but players noticed that Epic added a little something extra. So what was it? Well, Epic accidentally gave everyone a free extra pickaxe as an edit style. Now, it does look like an extra style, but it was actually supposed to be a part of a completely different skin pack that Epic would eventually release. Epic quickly disabled the pickaxe from everyone's locker who purchased it, and about 7 days later, they finally re-released the pickaxe without the edit style, and the new style of the pickaxe was eventually released in the Volcanic Assassin set. Now, that was a big mistake, but not as big as number 3, the time Epic had to remove the launch pad from the game. In Chapter 3, Season 3, we were all very confused when we woke up and saw that Epic had completely vaulted the launch pad. But why? Well, apparently after the update, anytime you place down a launch pad, every single person in the Battle Royale would be notified where the launch pad is. So if you place down a launch pad, you basically had a global UAV telling everyone on the map exactly where you were. So Epic had to disable the launch pad, and it took them 14 days before fixing the launch pad and finally bringing it back. And now at number 4, you would think after all these years, Epic would have it figured out and wouldn't have to remove or disable items. But unfortunately, in Chapter 4, Season 1, they had to remove the Shotgun Striker perk because it was completely game breaking. This perk is supposed to heal you when you deal damage with a shotgun. Now you might think, how could they mess this one up? Well, you could actually heal yourself by shooting your teammate. And even though you're not actually doing damage to them, the game would think that you are, and it would heal you based off of that. Now this was so fun to play with, but unfortunately they had to disable it. But now at number 5, the most broken Fortnite item that they had to disable. The Star Wand pickaxe. This happened in September 2019 Season X. I woke up to record an update video, and everyone in my chat was telling me to check out the Star Wand. Apparently this thing was doing a lot of damage. And yes, I slapped the pickaxe on and hopped in. This was the most pay to win experience I've ever had in Fortnite. This thing was swinging for 56 damage and sometimes would crit and do over 80 damage. And quick note, we actually know why this happened. In Save the World, these are the damage numbers for the pickaxe, so Epic accidentally gave it the Save the World stats, but in Battle Royale. So they disabled the pickaxe after a few hours, but now at number 6, this one is a little more infamous. The very controversial Bear Hug emote. On August 6, 2021, Epic released the Bear Hug emote, and it's a very wholesome emote where you hug other players. But very quickly in Party Royale, things spiraled out of control. So really quickly, Epic hopped in and disabled it, and within 8 hours, they fixed the bug and re-released the emote. But even after all that, they can't undo what we saw. Now, this one a lot of people probably forgot. At number 7, the Waypoint skin had massive issues. On June 6, 2019, Symphonies and Dakotas were playing Fortnite when they decided to buy and try out the Waypoint skin, and then this happened.
What? Your back blink's like all the way in the floor.
You could only see the head and the hands of the skin. You were basically invisible, similar to the Grill Sergeant. Now, luckily, Epic hopped in and disabled it before it could be completely abused. And now at number 8, the Iron Man Mythics. This one was a lot of fun. If you use the Iron Man repulsors and the Wolverine Mythic and combined it with a crash pad, this is what happens. All right, I'm going, bro.
Oh my god.
I'm going, bro. I'm going, bro. You would go flying across the entire map at super speed, and this was so much fun to pull off, but unfortunately, Epic had to remove it. But at number 9, who remembers the time when Epic had to remove the entire alien abductors off the map? You guys remember the aliens used to abduct you off the map, and then you would go play a mini game to get some loot? Well, if you were actually hiding in a garbage bin right before they abducted you, you would completely break the system. You would be able to keep the alien knockback gun and the jetpack that they would give you during the mini games and bring them back to the island. And at one point, you could even break out of your prison cell and start fighting the other players before the mini game even started. There was just too many bugs with this feature, so when it was removed, it never came back to the game. But that's not pay to win, unlike number 10, the infamous Dragon Ruin Lance pickaxe. Because when you use this pickaxe in a game, it was basically like popping dead silence in Call of Duty. Your footsteps were completely silent and you could sneak up on anybody without making a noise. People started abusing this in tournaments, but it wasn't long before Epic disabled the pickaxe completely. 8 days later, the pickaxe returned, but something that has never returned is number 11, account merging. Fortnite released this feature to help cross-platform players. The point of it was to allow someone who had a console account to merge their account with their brand new PC account and have all of their skins on one account. Now, unfortunately, people abuse this feature in the Fortnite black market by paying players to merge their accounts that had super rare skins like Renegade Raider. An entire ecosystem developed, and once Epic caught on to this, they actually disabled the account merging feature and even handed out hundreds of bans to players who abused it. Now at number 12, Epic removed all synced emotes from competitive, but why? In October 2021, Chapter 2, Season 8, players discovered they could perform a trick with the synced emote that would allow them to instantly reload their weapons. Once they were out of ammo, they could do the synced emote really quickly and all their weapons would be reloaded. So of course, Epic disabled them, and about 8 days later, they were finally fixed. Now at number 13, one of the major features of Chapter 3 was the introduction of the tents. But on December 10th, 2021, within the first week of Chapter 3, tents got disabled. The reason being they weren't breaking in the storm and players could infinitely heal and get easy wins. And on top of that, some players figured out how to bring old items and weapons from LTMs into Battle Royale, like the Gold Pump and the Scar, which were not in the game at the time. Epic was forced to remove the tents, fix them, and then later in the season bring them back. But something they won't bring back is number 14, the Fabio Sparkle Main Infinite XP glitch. On October 7th, 2021, players found out you can accept a quest from Fabio to use a zip line and immediately restart the quest line and get infinite XP. This was easy to exploit because Fabio himself was near a zip line. Once Epic found out about this, they removed him and his quest line and had to fix him. But at number 15, we have another very pay-to-win item, the Orbital Abductor. On June 29, 2021, Epic released this pickaxe, and it was very interesting because it had reactivity to sound around you. Now, this doesn't seem like a big deal until players found out that this pickaxe reacts to sounds that you should not hear, like people crouching around you or even enemy players reviving each other. This would allow you to pinpoint their location and constantly be on high alert if anyone was nearby, even if you couldn't really hear them. So yeah, this was completely broken, and Epic removed it from competitive and eventually removed it from all modes in general before finally fixing it. But it doesn't completely break the game, unlike number 16, the harmless Bushy's Bulb backbling. On June 2nd, 2022, you could finally finish the quest line that gave you this backbling, and when you did this, it actually replaced your current backbling with the Bushy's Bulb. Seems pretty normal until you realize that this has a very high chance of crashing your game. And not just your game, the entire server. Epic removed the quest line, and it took them about 2 days to finally fix it, and eventually it returned. And the pay to win doesn't stop, because at number 17, we need to talk about the Slurp Legends skin pack. On September 2nd, 2022, players found out that if they were using any of the Slurp legends and then used a Shadow Bomb, they would remain invisible after the duration of the Shadow Bomb ended. The only thing that would remain visible is the head of the skin, but this was still very pay to win. So Epic vaulted these skins, and then 5 days later, they made a return. Now, this next one isn't pay to win, but it's definitely glitch to win. At number 18, we need to talk about the huge whirlpool bug. In Chapter 2, Season 3, players found an invisibility and invincibility bug in one glitch. If you got knocked in a whirlpool and then got revived at the perfect time, you would revive but be completely invisible and unkillable. This caused so many issues, and as players started abusing this glitch, Epic was forced to vault the whirlpools. Eventually, they fixed it and the whirlpools returned. So we talked about the Star Wand being the most OP pickaxe, but I think this one is a close number 2. At number 19, we have the Bash Burner pickaxe. It was part of Beast Boy's set and it released May 27, 2021. The thing about this pickaxe is it swung faster and it had double the range of a normal pickaxe. This was obviously super OP, and before players could start using this in tournaments, Epic vaulted the pickaxe and fixed the issue. At number 21, we need to talk about a feature that has been removed multiple times: zip lines. They should have been removed in Chapter 1 when they were throwing players to their death off the zip line, but they never were. However, they had to be removed in Battle Royale multiple times, and they were even removed in Party Royale due to this glitch. The zipline feature has always been buggy, but not as buggy as number 22, hurdling. That's right, in Chapter 4, Epic introduced hurdling, and people figured out that there were some issues with it. Sometimes you would teleport across the map and fall to your death while just attempting to hurdle a little fence. Epic removed it December 17th, 2022, and then they fixed some bugs and brought it back, but then less than a few weeks later, they ended up vaulting it again in January. And we haven't seen this feature ever since. It was supposed to be one of the big parts of Chapter 4, but I guess it was just way too buggy. And this isn't the first time Epic messed up a new season feature, because in Chapter 2, Season 5, Epic introduced sand tunneling. Players figured out that they could use the sand tunneling to turn invisible, and Epic vaulted this at the beginning of the season. And it pretty much stayed vaulted until the last couple of weeks of Chapter 2, Season 5. But now we need to talk about number 24, the Code Axe pickaxe. On April 3rd, 2020, Epic released this pickaxe, and players figured out that it had longer range against opponents and structures and gave you a speed boost while using it. It's honestly insane how many pay-to-win items have been released, just like number 25, the Dragacorn glider. On May 7th, 2020, this glider released, and Epic went all out with the animation. Maybe a little too much, because the animation made it almost impossible for you to hit the player that was deploying the glider, so everyone in pro games and scrims were using this. And Epic was faced with a tough decision. Even though they spent a lot of time on the animation, they had to redo the animation and make it a lot more simple, and offered everyone who purchased the glider a free refund. Now that was pretty broken, but not as bad as number 26. This might be the most game-breaking glitch I've ever seen, the kinetic blade. I don't know how people discovered this, but they figured out that if they disconnect their internet while using the blade, they could then run around and slice anybody in the lobby because they were standing still. And then once they reconnected their internet, that person would instantly get one shot and you would have no idea what happened. This caught on and players started abusing this, and Epic was forced to vault the kinetic blade and it never returned to the game. This wasn't the case for number 27, the Shockwave Hammer. On January 9, 2022, players figured out an exploit that allowed them to use the Shockwave Hammer without consuming any of the charges, so they could infinitely bounce around the entire game using the hammer. Epic vaulted the Shockwave Hammer for a short period of time before fixing the bug and then returning it to the game. However, when it returned, you could still use it to fish, and the flying cars exploit still worked with the Shockwave Hammer. But the real flying glitch of Chapter 4 was number 28, the Dub Shotgun. On January 7, 2023, Epic vaulted the exotic double barrel shotgun from competitive and tournaments. because when you combine this shotgun with the soaring sprints augment, you could fly so high into the sky that no one could see you. This was a lot of fun in pubs, but it created issues in tournaments, and that's why Epic only vaulted it for competitive events. At number 29, we have the Siren skin, and this happened on September 20th, 2022 during the Chrome season. If you use the black and white edit style of the Siren skin and then splash yourself with Chrome, once the Chrome wore off, your skin would turn completely black, making it very hard to spot, especially at night and in the shadows, and Epic doesn't really like when a skin has extremely good camo. So they vaulted the skin and eventually fixed the bug. Now you could camo with the skin, but at least you weren't invisible like number 30, the Neymar skin. On November 28th, 2022, people figured out a glitch with the Neymar skin. He had a built-in emote that if you used would turn most of the skin invisible. This seems to be a common theme, so Epic vaulted the skin and then eventually fixed the bug and had it returned to the game. Next up at number 31, imagine being the studio that finally gets to collab with Fortnite, and then you find out that the mythic item that Fortnite collaborated with you on is one of the most broken mythics in the game, the Deku Smash. This thing had so many different glitches and bugs on top of it being super powerful that so many players were just sick of it. Epic eventually vaulted it, and then when it returned, it actually returned around the same time as the Dragon Ball mythic. So I feel like it never got its chance to shine. Now, while it was OP, it wasn't as broken as number 32, the Guzzle Juice. Players figured out that if they took a Guzzle Juice to a campfire while they were in the storm, if they drank it exactly at 97 HP, the Guzzle Juice would continue to heal you back up to full infinitely. This allowed so many players to get free wins, and Epic was forced to vault the Guzzle Juice before eventually fixing it and having it come back to the game. Now, we've had a lot of invisibility bugs, but we need to talk about number 33, the Shadow Stones. People could become completely invisible while using these things. And the same exact thing happened with number 34 in Season X when Epic released the glitched consumables. Now, at number 35, I don't know what Epic was thinking with this one. In patch 7.1, Epic made a change to the storm where the final storm would do 8 damage instead of 10. Now, this might seem fine until you realize that that means you can pop medkits infinitely in the storm, and every single competitive match turned into a medkit heal off. And at number 36, this is probably one of the most recent mistakes Epic made. Players figured out there was a way to get the Rogue Agent skin pack, but today. This was a very rare skin pack that was only available back in Chapter 1, and people figured out a method to actually purchase it onto their accounts. Once Epic figured out what people were doing, they actually removed the skin on any account that purchased it and refunded anybody who did. And at number 37, this one's a little unfortunate. Players were very excited when Squatting Dog finally got his bundle in the Fortnite item shop. And his bundle came with the Hot Rod glider, and as players hopped in to use the glider, their game would instantly crash. Epic had to remove his entire bundle from the shop due to this bug, but eventually they fixed it and his bundle made a return. And at number 38, we got to talk about one of the first cases of pay-to-win skins in Fortnite, the Toy Soldier skins. They blended really well with the grass, trees, and bushes, and Epic eventually changed them and gave everybody a refund if they wanted it. The same thing happened years later with the superhero skins when players were using it to camouflage in all kinds of situations. Epic made some changes to the superhero skins and offered everybody a refund, but in my opinion, they're still kind of OP. But now we need to talk about number 40, the reason Midas was removed from Fortnite. On January 15th, 2022, there was a huge game-breaking bug with Midas. For some reason, if you had the gold edit style of Midas and then swapped to the Spider-Man mythics, there would be a weird flash that happened. And if you did this multiple times in a row, everyone in the server would actually tank their tick rate, and some people would even crash and disconnect when they were near this. This happened with all the Chapter 2 Season 2 skins that had the gold style, and Epic removed these skins from the game until eventually fixing it and making their return. So guys, this was almost every removed item from Fortnite. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more Fortnite fun facts, watch this video right here.